Hey there, adventure seekers. Jean-Claude here, ready to take you on a wild ride through Germany's top 10 must-do adventures. Buckle up because this is going to be one hell of a trip. We're talking beer, castles, crazy nightlife, and enough sausage to clog your arteries with joy. So grab a pretzel, loosen your Lederhosen, and get ready to experience Germany like a true rock star. We're gonna hit up all the hot spots, from the bustling streets of Berlin to the fairy tale castles of Bavaria. We'll be chugging beers at Oktoberfest, hiking through the Black Forest, and sailing down the Rhine River. And trust me, I'll be your guide every step of the way, sharing my insider tips and tricks for making the most of your German adventure. So, whether you're a seasoned traveler or a first-timer, get ready to have your mind blown by all that Germany has to offer. We're about to embark on a journey filled with laughter, adventure, and maybe even a little bit of romance. Hey, anything's possible. Now let's get this party started. First stop, Munich, baby. Home of the legendary Oktoberfest, where the beer flows like wine and the good times never stop. Picture this, millions of people dressed in Lederhosen and dirndls chugging giant steins of beer. It's like a scene out of a movie, but with more pretzels and oompa music. We're talking about the real deal, brewed specially for Oktoberfest. Trust me, after a couple of these, you'll be doing the chicken dance. Don't forget to line your stomach with some hearty German grub. Bratwurst, pretzels the size of your head, and sauerkraut. It's about the atmosphere, the camaraderie, the shared love of all things fun and festive. It's about letting loose, singing your heart out, and making memories. Just try not to lose your friends, your dignity, or your Lederhosen. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jean-Claude, this all sounds great, but what about the morning after? Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. Munich's got you covered with hangover cures galore. First things first, you gotta try a traditional Bavarian breakfast. We're talking Weisswurst, which are these delicious white sausages served with sweet mustard and pretzels, and wash it all down with a refreshing wheat beer because, hey, it's practically breakfast of champions in Bavaria. Once you've soothed your stomach, it's time to explore the city. Munich is a beautiful mix of old-world charm and modern sophistication. Stroll through the English Garden, one of the world's largest urban parks, or check out the Deutsches Museum, a science and technology museum that'll make your inner nerd jump for joy. And if you're feeling fancy, hit up the shops on Maximilianstrasse, Munich's answer to Rodeo Drive. Just remember, folks, pace yourself at Oktoberfest. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Unless you're racing someone to the bottom of a beer stein, in which case, all bets are off. Just promise me you'll try to remember at least half of the fun you'll have, all right? All right, folks, pack your glass slippers and polish your tiaras because we're headed to Neuschwanstein Castle. This place is straight out of a fairy tale, nestled in the Bavarian Alps like a giant, beautiful, slightly eccentric birthday cake. This is the castle that inspired Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle, and let me tell you, it's even more magical in person. You'll be snapping pics like a tourist possessed, trust me. Built by King Ludwig II, who was a bit of a dreamer, let's just say, this castle is a testament to imagination and extravagance. I mean, the guy had a grotto built inside the castle, complete with a waterfall and stalactites. A grotto! Who needs a man cave when you can have a grotto, right? But here's the thing about Neuschwanstein. It's not just about the outside. The inside is just as impressive, with opulent rooms decorated with murals, tapestries, and enough gold leaf to make a rapper blush. You'll be walking through those halls feeling like royalty, even if you're just a regular Joe like me. Now, you might be thinking, Jean-Claude, isn't this place just a tourist trap? And yeah, okay, you got me there, it's a popular one. But trust me, it's worth braving the crowds for. The views from the castle are breathtaking. You can see for miles in every direction, over rolling hills, sparkling lakes, and those majestic Bavarian Alps. Plus, you can get your steps in hiking up to the castle. Or, you know, be lazy like me and take the horse-drawn carriage. No judgment here. But listen, Neuschwanstein is more than just a pretty facade. It's a symbol of German history and culture. A reminder of a time when kings built castles in the sky and fairy tales seemed possible. So, take your time exploring the castle, learn about its fascinating history, and let your imagination run wild. You might even bump into a Prince Charming while you're there. All right, party people, strap on your dancing shoes and get ready to experience Berlin's nightlife, where the only curfew is sunrise and the only dress code is, well, there really isn't one. Forget your Berghain anxieties, darlings. Tonight we're painting the town red, yellow, and whatever other neon colors we can find. This ain't some sleepy village, this is Berlin, baby. First things first, you gotta fuel up for a night of serious revelry. Ditch the fancy restaurants and hit up a currywurst stand. Yeah, you heard me right, currywurst. This magical combination of sausage, curry ketchup, and a sprinkle of questionable magic is a Berlin institution, and trust me, it's the perfect base for a night of questionable decisions. Now, Berlin's nightlife scene is like a choose-your-own-adventure novel on steroids. You got your underground techno clubs where the bass rattles your teeth, your swanky cocktail bars with more mixologists than patrons, and everything in between. Feeling adventurous? Check out Escapades. These late-night kiosks are like convenience stores for your soul, selling everything from beer to gummy bears. Don't ask me how they stay in business. Just remember, in Berlin, the night is young even when you're not. Pace yourself, hydrate like your life depends on it, and don't be afraid to embrace the unexpected. You might just find yourself dancing on a table with a bunch of strangers at 4 a.m., and honestly, that's what life's all about, right? You can't talk about Berlin's nightlife without mentioning techno. It's the city's heartbeat pulsing through its veins. If you're a techno head, you've found heaven. Even if you're not, dip your toes in. Legendary clubs like Berghain, Tresor, and /about await. Be prepared to queue. It's like winning the lottery. And don't wear your fanciest outfit. Berlin's club scene is all about that grungy, underground aesthetic. Think black clothes, Doc Martens, and an air of mystery. But hey, maybe techno ain't your thing. No judgment here. Berlin's got something for everyone. How about a night of live music? From punk rock to jazz, the city's got a soundtrack for every mood. Check out venues like So 36, Lido, or Urban Spree for a taste of the local music scene. And if you're looking for something a little more low-key, there are countless bars and pubs where you can grab a drink, listen to some tunes, and soak up the city's unique atmosphere. Just remember, Berliners take their nightlife seriously, so come prepared to party till dawn, or at least until the U-Bahn starts running again. Okay, adventurers, trade your party shoes for hiking boots and grab a map, because we're heading deep into the heart of Germany, the Black Forest. This ain't no ordinary forest, folks. This is the kind of place where fairy tales come to life, where the trees whisper secrets to the wind, and where you might just stumble upon a gingerbread house, or a witch's lair. Now I know what you're thinking. Jean-Claude, this sounds a little too grim for my liking, but trust me, darlings, this place is magical. Imagine towering pines, sunlight filtering through the leaves, and the crisp, clean air that only a real forest can provide. It's enough to make you forget about your Instagram feed for a hot minute. But don't worry, you don't have to be a seasoned hiker to enjoy the Black Forest. There are trails for all levels, from leisurely strolls to challenging climbs. You can explore charming villages nestled among the hills, discover hidden waterfalls cascading down moss-covered rocks, and maybe even spot some of the local wildlife. Just watch out for those cuckoo clocks. They can get a little intense. And speaking of intense, let's talk about the Black Forest cake. Layers of rich chocolate cake, cherries, and whipped cream, all soaked in Kirschwasser cherry brandy. It's the perfect reward after a long day of exploring, and trust me, you've earned it. The Black Forest isn't just about trees and cake. Okay, maybe a little about the cake, but there's more. Explore charming towns like Freiburg, with cobblestone streets and medieval architecture. Wander through the old town, soak up the atmosphere, and try the local wine. You're in Germany, after all. Or visit the spa town of Baden-Baden, known for its thermal baths and gardens. Soak in the healing waters, and enjoy the Art Nouveau splendor. Feeling adventurous? Drive the Black Forest High Road. Breathtaking views await. Just watch those hairpin turns. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to embark on a journey down the Rhine, one of Germany's most iconic waterways. We're talking about a proper river cruise, darlings. The kind where you sip cocktails on deck and watch the world drift by. Forget your worries about seasickness because the Rhine flows smooth as a freshly buttered pretzel. Charming villages, majestic castles, and breathtaking scenery await. Just sit back, relax, and let the river work its magic. Now, the Rhine isn't just a pretty face, you know. This river is practically swimming in history and legend. As we sail along, we'll encounter towering castles, each with its own intriguing story to tell. Get ready for tales of feuding brothers, wicked stepmothers, and maybe even a few ghosts. One of the most famous spots is the Lorelei Rock, inspiring countless poems and songs. Legend has it that a siren named Lorelei sang so enchantingly that sailors would crash their ships. Keep your eyes peeled, you might just catch a glimpse of her. But don't worry, not all the stories on the Rhine are quite so dramatic. We'll also pass by charming villages with half-timbered houses, vineyards clinging to steep slopes, and ancient ruins that whisper tales of bygone eras. It's like stepping back in time, without having to sacrifice modern plumbing. So there you have it, darlings. A taste of the magic that awaits you on a Rhine River cruise. From breathtaking scenery to fascinating history and just a touch of legend, it's an experience you won't soon forget. Just be sure to pack your sense of adventure and your appetite for romance, because the Rhine has a way of working its magic on even the most jaded traveler. All right, folks, buckle up because we're headed to the top of Germany, literally. Zugspitze Mountain, baby. This bad boy stands tall and proud at almost 10,000 feet. Yeah, you heard that right, 10,000 feet of pure German awesomeness. Now I know what you're thinking. Jean-Claude, I don't know if my little legs can handle that. Don't you worry your pretty little heads. You can take a cable car to the top. It's like a personal elevator to the clouds, minus the awkward small talk. And the views? Forget about it. You can see for miles and miles of snow-capped peaks, rolling hills, and tiny little villages that look like they're straight out of a cuckoo clock. It's enough to make you want to yodel, but please, for the love of all that is holy, don't. Once you've had your fill of the scenery, grab yourself a pretzel and a beer at the restaurant up there, because nothing says conquering the German Alps like a cold one and a salty snack, am I right? Now I gotta warn you, the air up there is a little thin. But hey, consider it a free altitude high, just try not to get too dizzy and fall off the mountain, okay? We're going for breathtaking views, not breathtaking rescues. And speaking of breathtaking, you might run into some, let's just say, interesting characters up there. You know, the kind of folks who wear hiking boots with their Lederhosen and have faces that only a mother could love. But hey, that's all part of the charm, right? It wouldn't be a real German adventure without a little bit of, shall we say, local flavor. Just smile politely, nod your head, and try not to make eye contact. And whatever you do, don't challenge them to a yodeling contest. Trust me on this one, you will lose. All right, enough with the great outdoors. Let's get cultured, shall we? We're headed to Cologne to check out this city's masterpiece, the Cologne Cathedral. This ain't your average church, folks. This is a Gothic masterpiece. We're talking flying buttresses, gargoyles that could scare the devil himself, and enough stained glass to make Tiffany's jealous. Construction on this colossal beauty started way back in the 13th century. Can you believe it? It took them, get this, over 600 years to finish it. Talk about dedication. I can't even commit to a Netflix series for that long. But hey, good things come to those who wait, right? And trust me, this cathedral is worth the wait. The inside is just as impressive as the outside, with soaring ceilings, intricate carvings, and an atmosphere so peaceful, it'll make you want to convert on the spot. Just try to ignore the hordes of tourists taking selfies and bumping into you with their backpacks. It's all part of the experience, right? Now, while you're admiring the stained glass, keep an eye out for the Shrine of the Three Kings. It's said to contain the relics of the wise guys who brought gifts to baby Jesus. You know, gold, frankincense, myrrh, the usual baby shower stuff. And if you're feeling a little sinful after all that holy water and incense, don't worry, I got you covered. Head over to the Fru Kolsch brewery, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the cathedral. They brew this delicious Kolsch beer right on site, and let me tell you, it's the perfect way to wash away any lingering guilt. Plus, it's practically sacrilegious to come to Cologne and not try the local brew, right? And hey, if you're looking for a souvenir that doesn't scream I bought this at the airport gift shop, they have got you covered. A 6-pack of Kolsch says I appreciate culture. And beer. Okay, romantics, this one's for you. Get ready to be swept off your feet by the charm of Heidelberg Castle. Nestled in the hills overlooking the Neckar River, this castle has got it all: stunning views, a rich history, and enough nooks and crannies to get lost in for hours. Built back in the 13th century, this place has seen it all. Wars, fires, lightning strikes, you name it. It's like the Kenny Rogers of castles, surviving every time. And just like Kenny, it only gets better with age. Take a stroll through the gardens, wander through the courtyard, and don't forget to check out the famous Heidelberg Thun, a giant wine barrel that could hold enough wine to drown your sorrows for, well, a very long time. We're talking 58,000 gallons, folks. And the views? Mamma mia. You can see the whole town of Heidelberg, the winding Neckar River, and the lush green hills stretching out as far as the eye can see. It's enough to make you want to write a poem or at least take a selfie for Instagram. Now, Heidelberg Castle has had its fair share of famous visitors over the years. We're talking kings, queens, poets, artists, you name it. They've all been captivated by its beauty and charm. And speaking of charm, legend has it that the castle is haunted by the ghost of Perkeo, the court jester who is known for his love of wine. They say he still wanders the halls at night looking for his next drink. So if you hear any strange noises, it's probably just Perkeo looking for a corkscrew. But don't let that scare you away. Heidelberg Castle is the perfect place to let your imagination run wild and pretend you're a knight in shining armor or a damsel in distress. Just try not to fall in love with a ghost, okay? They're notoriously bad at returning calls. And hey, if you get tired of all the history and romance, you can always grab a bite to eat at one of the castle's restaurants. They've got everything from traditional German fare to international cuisine, because even ghosts gotta eat, right? Alright, my little lovebirds, let's talk about the romantic road. This ain't no dusty old highway, no siree. We're talking rolling hills, charming villages, castles straight out of your fairy tale dreams. You practically need a glass of Riesling just to handle the sheer romantic tension. First stop, you gotta hit up Rothenburg ob der Tauber. This place is like a time capsule, seriously. Medieval walls, cobblestone streets, buildings that look like gingerbread houses. You half expect to see knights jousting in the town square. And speaking of squares, you gotta try a schneeball. It's this giant ball of fried dough covered in powdered sugar. Trust me, it's way more delicious than it sounds. And messy, like really messy. You'll be finding powdered sugar on yourself for days. But hey, that's part of the fun, right? Next up, we're cruising down to Dinkelsbuhl. Another ridiculously charming town full of half-timbered houses and flower boxes overflowing with blooms. Seriously, the Germans know how to do flowers. It's like walking through a postcard, only you can smell the flowers and eat the pretzels. Now, no trip down the romantic road would be complete without a little wine tasting. And lucky for you, this region is practically bursting with vineyards. We're talking crisp whites, full-bodied reds, even some bubbly to get the party started. Just try not to overdo it, alright? Remember what happened in Munich? Yeah, let's not repeat that. We're going for romantic, not I woke up in a vineyard wearing a lampshade kind of adventure. And hey, if you're feeling really adventurous, rent a bike and explore the vineyards that way. Just remember to stay on the right side of the road. Those Germans, they're serious about their traffic laws and their wine. Mostly their wine. So there you have it, my friends. The romantic road, where history, beauty, and maybe even a little love collide. Just don't blame me if you come back with a souvenir husband or a sudden urge to learn how to yodel. Okay folks, buckle up because we're about to get real. We're talking about the Berlin Wall, a symbol of division, oppression, and frankly a really bad time in history. But here's the thing about Berlin. It doesn't shy away from its past. It confronts it head-on, turns it into something powerful, something beautiful. For 28 years, this wall divided a city, a country, and even families. Can you imagine? Not being able to see your loved ones just because of where they lived? It's heavy stuff, I know, but trust me. A visit to the East Side Gallery is an experience you won't soon forget. This 1.3-kilometer stretch of the wall has been transformed into an open-air art gallery. Artists from all over the world came together to paint their messages of hope, freedom, and unity. It's like a giant, colorful middle finger to oppression. You'll see iconic images like Dmitry Vrubel's My God, help me to survive this deadly love, also known as the fraternal kiss, depicting the infamous embrace between Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev and East German leader Erich Honecker. Talk about awkward family photos, am I right? But the East Side Gallery is just one piece of the puzzle. Walking along the Berlin Wall Memorial, you'll see remnants of the wall itself, watchtowers, and even a section where you can attempt to cross over. It's a sobering reminder of the lengths people went to for freedom. Think about it. People risked their lives to escape to the West, to be reunited with loved ones, to taste freedom. They climbed over walls, dug tunnels, even flew hot air balloons. Talk about dedication. And you know what? They succeeded. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989 and the world celebrated. It's a testament to the power of hope, the strength of the human spirit, and the fact that even walls can't hold back the tide of change forever. So yeah, the Berlin Wall is a heavy topic, but it's also a story of resilience, of hope, of the human spirit's unyielding desire for freedom. It's a reminder that we should never take our own freedoms for granted. Well, my little sauerkrauts, we've reached the end of our whirlwind adventure through Germany. We've chugged beer in Munich, gotten lost in fairy tale forests, and even contemplated the meaning of life, or at least the meaning of a good pretzel, on the romantic road. We've seen history come alive, from majestic castles to the powerful reminder of the Berlin Wall. Germany, you've been a trip, literally and figuratively. But it's time for this jet-setting New Yorker to say Auf Wiedersehen. Don't worry, I'll be back for more schnitzel and shenanigans soon enough. But before I go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more crazy adventures with yours truly. Until next time, keep it wild and keep it sexy.